Have you ever felt stuck, anxious, or lost and couldn't figure out why? I used to think that I was just unlucky in love, bad with money, and too sensitive. In reality, I realized that my struggles were rooted in unprocessed pain. I was carrying around invisible wounds that were affecting every area of my life. Once I understood this, I started to make changes, and that's when the real healing began. These are the 11 steps that helped me. The first step is I learned what trauma really is. I used to think that trauma was just for people that survived really extreme situations. But I learned that there's a thing called big T's and little t's. Big T's or big traumas are really major events like natural disasters, rape, being in war zones, really major events like that. Little T's are also valid traumas, and they could be chronic traumas like growing up in a household where there's a lot of chaos. There might be alcoholism or some other addiction present. There's a lot of fighting. There may be emotional neglect or some other kind of neglect, or any other kind of chronic condition that doesn't make you feel safe and it overwhelms you in some way. That can be a little T, a little trauma. The second step is taking accountability for my life. I stopped blaming others for my life circumstances, and I developed really fierce self-compassion. Just learning how to love myself, forgive myself, and give myself compassion for any mishaps along the way in my life, and let that be that. The third step is that I stopped drinking. Now, I was never a heavy drinker. I did drink socially, but I stopped drinking. Not for particularly any other reason than just wanting to get healthier. I wanted to start to heal my liver and my gallbladder because I have issues with that. But I noticed that in doing that, I also cleared my mind in general, and I was able to allow other emotions that needed to come through to surface and be processed and just move on and out of my body. The fourth step is I stopped dating. It's been a couple of years now since I ended a long-term relationship, and I have intentionally not wanted to date because I'm taking this time to really get to know myself and have a romantic relationship with myself. I know that sounds funny, but what I mean by that is just learning to love myself in ways that I didn't allow that to happen before. Really get to know myself intimately, get to know all the things that I like, don't like, what I want to tolerate moving forward, what I'm not going to tolerate, and just develop a real connection with the inner workings of who I am. The fifth step that I took is to allow myself to feel it all, feel all the emotions that come up. And a lot of them have been coming up, especially in the last couple of years. I feel like I've been on this tremendous healing journey where a purging of emotions is coming in different waves. And it can be really uncomfortable at times, but I allow myself to feel what I need to feel, as painful as it can be. And once I'm able to feel it, sit with it, process it, then it moves on, and I feel so much better afterwards. Now, again, I'm recognizing that this can still come in waves, and I have learned to be okay with that, accept that, because the journey of letting things go, letting these unprocessed, repressed emotions and memories surface, and then let them go has been very cleansing for me in so many ways. I feel that I emerge lighter, more clear-headed, and wiser in a lot of ways. The sixth thing that I started to do is to set boundaries and stop people pleasing. I started to say no to things that just do not resonate with me or I intuitively feel are not right for me. I am starting to speak up a little bit more about things that I think are important. I still have to work on my delivery on a lot of ways that I express myself, but at least I'm working on it, and I'm trying to practice self-compassion to not beat myself up when I don't say things the way I would like them to be, but rather learn from the lesson. If I need to apologize about something that wasn't said the right way, then I will. But at least I am starting to speak my truth more. I'm setting boundaries more, and I'm stopping the people pleasing. And that feels good. Number 7 is that I am going to therapy, and coaching has been part of my process as well. So in the last couple of years, I have been investing a lot in not only my own healing with therapies and conventional therapies like Compassion Key, which I actually got certified in, and also going to conventional cognitive talk therapy, as well as coaching. And all of that has served me very well in a lot of ways. I really have been taking a holistic approach, getting these various types of therapies and coaching, but I'm also leaning a lot on my friends, the very close friends that I have, allowing myself to be vulnerable with them and allowing myself to create and seek safe places where I can really just be myself, which is something I didn't always do throughout my life. So it feels refreshing and liberating in many ways. Step number 8 is that I started to reconnect with movement and mindfulness. I've always loved physical activity, and I stopped doing it for some time. I love to dance, but interestingly, I haven't been dancing as much lately. It's like I am taking on new interests, such as rebounding. I'm really enjoying rebounding. I'm going to a barre class that I really enjoy, and just keeping an open mind about what other ways I can start to move my body. And also meditation. Meditation is something that I've always enjoyed. I wasn't always great at sticking to it, but I'm finding a new interest in exploring mindfulness and meditation. And so I'm just enjoying the journey of that. Number 9 is that I stopped blaming myself for things that I didn't know. There are a lot of mistakes that I've made in my life, a lot of mishaps, and I stopped punishing myself for that, feeling shame for it. I think in some ways I'm still working through some of it, but in general, I am learning to embrace the lessons and the growth that I've acquired along the way, and to not beat myself up about it. It's still a work in progress. I'm not always great at it, but I think I'm getting better. Number 10 is redefining healing as a journey, not a destination. I used to think that there was a time that you would just arrive, you are healed, there's nothing else you need to do because you are completely purified and moving on like a new person. But somewhere along the way, I realized that healing is not a final destination. It's something that you're doing consistently, as I alluded to, in waves in your life, and it's just a part of the journey. So I am learning to embrace it as that. It's a journey, not a destination. Number 11 is that I stopped comparing myself to others. Instead of looking at what everyone else is doing and not doing, I started to look at myself. I started to look deeper within, hold myself accountable, see what I needed to heal, and just value myself for all the work that I'm doing. So I hope some of this or all of this is resonating with you. What step have you taken towards your own healing journey? I would love to hear from you in the comments. And if you want to hear a little bit more about why I decided to avoid people, you might want to check out this video. And I will see you in the next video.